Oi, oi! How's everybody doing? I don't think there's anybody in here. No, there isn't. So we'll give it a couple of minutes, see if anybody tunes in. Hopefully somebody will. If not, no worries. I just thought I'd come jump on here and get a little bit of a chat going maybe. But it's no worries if no one jumps in here. No big deal at all. I hope everybody, whenever you watch this, which I'll probably take it down if no one comes in or turns up, it's all good. But I just thought I'd throw this out there, just a quick live. It was a spare of the moment. I didn't plan anything or anything like that. I've kind of had it on my mind, and I was a little bit itching to get out there and do a bit of a live. And I thought I would just throw one out. And it was just before someone might be able to come in here and save me for a little bit, because it was. My wife says, "Oh, we're going to go to Home Depot, which is the hardware store, because we have a rental and we got to do stuff on. It's like, when you kind of like you realize you got to do stuff, but you kind of let things slip, and then we kick ourselves for letting things slip, right? And it's like it's like that in life. It's like, what's the avoidance? What's the why do we do that? And it's the not wanting to do it. So I'll see. We'll give it a couple of minutes and see if anybody does turn up. I'm just noticing my goatee's a little bit out of shape. Looks like it's longer on one end than it is the other. Great. I hope everybody's having a decent weekend, or going into the weekend, I should say. Or if you're watching this weekend, I hope you're having a decent weekend and getting into the PMA and the PPA. And I'm going to be doing a live on Sunday. So come out on Sunday, 11 a.m. on Sundays. I put one out there, put another live out there. And we do some meditation, and then we have a bit of a chat after. Certain subjects come up. Sometimes we talk about the meditation or whatever. But please come out on Sunday, and please go out there and check out my podcast too. Getting Real with Cockney Buddha, Gettin. You'll find it probably on the YouTube under the podcast area, because it does load straight to YouTube now, which I'm not even sure how I got it to do that, but it's doing it. So it's out there on YouTube, and you can go across all the different platforms as well. Getting Real with Cockney Buddha, and I've just been posting out some podcasts out there recently. So go and check them out. I did one last night, with a meditation. So go and check it out. There's a meditation in there as well that you can use, and it pulls your attention to what the breath is, and how to work the breath, and how to be present with the breath, and tuning in and anchoring. And so go and check out that podcast that I put out there yesterday. And I did another one where it's called Breathing Through Anxiety and Panic. Go and check that one out too. I've had some experiences myself where I've done some breath work and breathed through some situations, especially this week. And I'd like to put that out there and teach it if I can. So go and check it out. Go and check the vlogs out. I dropped one this morning. Go and check out the vlogs. And go and hit the subscribe if you would. It really, really helps to get the message out. I don't understand people when they subscribe, and then I looked again. I had 203, absolutely stoked about it. Like, get in, awesome. It's some more people, join in and getting some help and passing it around. And then all of a sudden it dropped down to 202 again. I don't understand that. So, if this doesn't appeal to you, fair enough. I get it. But who doesn't want some positive words right? Who doesn't want a positive way, or a positive way of looking at things, or another way of thinking, or helping with your anxiety and panic, or who doesn't want that? So it kind of bewilders me a little bit when I see it kind of drop down. It's like, okay, no biggie. Maybe you don't agree with what I'm saying. It's fair enough. It's all good. But it really helps. The people that are really into what I'm saying and they're getting help from this and all, please go out there and hit that subscribe, because it really gets it out there, and it starts to spread the word a little bit, where people will start recognizing even the name, and then they can, if the name Cockney Buddha comes up, it's like, okay, and they know that, they know what that stands for and stuff. So it's a good thing to push out there for me. It's a good thing for you too, because it does give you some purpose and worth, because you can give yourself a pat on the back for passing it around to many. Because if it stops with you, it stops with you. It doesn't go any further. But if you end up passing it to somebody or several people, and then those several people pass it to more, it starts to spread the word that I believe people could really, really do with listening to right now. And it's all about community, love, and respecting one another, helping one another, without any judgments or anything like that. So, please hit that. Go and have a look at my channel. Again, if it don't appeal to you, fair enough. Right? You don't have to. I'm not forcing anybody to sign up for anything. But I know when I start signing up for some of the people that I sign up for, and I might not have even been on the channel for a bit, and all of a sudden something will pop up from them, and it's like, oh, and it kind of rings a bell. It might needed to be there at that time, and I'm like, okay. So and then I tune back in to some of these people that I might not have tuned into for a bit, but I don't go and unsubscribe. It's like, otherwise, and then I'm not getting, I'm not pushing their message. I'm not. I mention names as well. I push messages out there about different people that I've met, and different people that I follow. And it's about being honest and loving towards another human being, and pushing the message out there. And that's what I do. But it really look out there towards you guys for that little bit of help. So when I see one drop, it's like, what's going on there, right? But no, please. Someone's just dropped in by the look of it. I don't know who's in, but appreciate you dropping in. And they just dropped out by the look of it. Brilliant. Anyway. Anyway, never mind. So, so if you can, please, right, this is all about, if you join my Sunday morning, it's free, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, US, Sunday mornings. I do some meditation and breath work, and then we have a chat. So, and it's, it doesn't cost you anything but signing in and giving yourself a little bit of time. Sometimes it goes on just over the hour. Sometimes it goes on for, 40 minutes. It depends. So, but it doesn't go on much further than that. And it's a good way of all supporting each other and tuning into something that's, it's all positive word. I work on pushing out the positives out there, and, pushing messages out there that I use myself, and some tools that I use myself too. And so please give the support, because it really does. It really, really does help. And I really thank all of you that, especially the loyal ones that keep coming back and keep coming back. It's a blessing to have met a lot of people through this too. I've met some really, really cool people through this, and that I've learnt from a lot. Because if it wasn't for if it wasn't for the Grom, I wouldn't have been holding the phone in front of my face. I don't know how long ago now. So and this wouldn't have even started. And I met him through YouTube. So go and check his channel out. Great guy. He's going to be coming over here to the US where I live in Florida. and then traveling around surfing and that. So keep your eyes on his channel, because that's all going to be on his YouTube channel, no doubt. So I'm gonna wrap this up, and hopefully, you know, you can tune in a little bit later and see this. But many thanks to all of you, and thanks for the supporting and the people that come in at the right times, and those people that I've met along the way that have boosted me and also give me the steps forward, as far as like sometimes a little bit of a kick in the ass, right? So, but I appreciate each and every one of you, and thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching this and actually clicking on that play button and having a look. Yeah, a couple of people kind of popped in and out. It's okay. It's all good. So thank you. I appreciate you. Someone did drop in again, but you know, I'm not sure who that is or who's dropped in. Because I was just about to wrap it up. I was just about to wrap it up. Hey, Pippa. I was just about to wrap it up. I'm probably gonna wrap it because nobody really came in. It was just a spare at the moment, and I thought I'd just throw a lie together. I was having that itch to want to do something. I sat in here the other night like a kid in a candy shop, because where I sit is where I leave my stuff set up, and it's where I work and all. So where I do my work is this. This is where I work, and I used to work in a different room, and I used to have to put a background on the Zoom and all that, because the room was like what's that, Alder's room, you know what I mean? Oi, every day, sir. How you doing, matey? Good to see you. But I think you both know each other, right? Pippa, Adam, Pippa. If you haven't, here you go. Pippa's in Wales, and Adam is over on the west coast out there up in the Beachway. I can't remember what I was saying now. I had Tracy, my wife, like as I'm like, I'm going to do a live, and I forgot. Well, I kind of didn't forget. I thought I had an out, because when was it, last night? I think it was. She's like, well, we've got to go to the hardware. We've got some stuff that we've got to do, right? And she's like, we're going to go to the hardware store, and I'm like, yeah, all right, we'll do that. Yeah, okay, Friday night, Friday night, but I don't want to kill all my Friday and all, you know, that. And then I forgot, like I said, I didn't really forget. So when I said to her, I said she was on the phone with one of her best mates. And I'm like, oh, bingo, I can get a live in, because I'm like really wanting to do a live. And I'm like, I kind of slip her a piece of paper and a note. I want to go live, 5:30. See, and I thought, no, I'll do it at 5:30. And so then she gets off the phone, and she's like, oh yeah, don't forget, we'll go to Home Depot after. And I'm like, oh. So I've got her, going to Home Depot. We got some, got some things to do. That I put my foot in it and went, yeah, all right, yes, yeah. I don't know how long ago. Don't worry about it. Yeah, got it. Nah. But the thing is to look on the other side of it, right? Be thankful that I've got somewhere where I'm going to go. I mean, it's a rental property as well, because when we got out of it, or we had to. Well, we didn't have to, but it was getting naughty. It was right in the middle of it with frigging Studentville, and I'm like, don't trust me, I love students. My daughters are students, but it was just getting a bit naughty around me, and even people that lived there as well were just like, it was like, and I met some really good people that still live there, really good people, but my temperament and that, and then it was, anyway, I ain't going to say too much about it. And so we was kind of like, right, let's split out of here. And the people that live across the cul-de-sac from us now, he was in Riley, and he found this where we are in this neighbourhood, and everything was bottoming out at that point. Freaking houses, you couldn't buy houses were cheap because nobody was buying them. So and these were like they were building these, and they wanted to, So we got in like sweet as a nut, and so we rented because you can always rent it, but they're not. I don't think there's even. I think they're all engineers that's in there. So yeah, there's some things we kind of let go, and now it's like, oh no, it's D-Day. Can everybody hear me all right? How's everybody doing? How's everybody having a decent week? Everybody in the old everybody in the PMA and the PPA? I hope we're full steam ahead and pushing that ball forward. How's everybody sweet as? How was that surfing event there, Adam? I know you were. I think it was last weekend. I think I remember you saying you was going. But yeah, so you got bloody yeah. I ain't got that kind of work going on. Mine's more of the landscaping side of it, and we got it was years ago, man. I had to get in. This is what I mean. It comes round and bites you in the arse, and you don't do it right the first time, right? Where the pipes were coming out of the wall. This was years ago, mate. I had to chip an hole out of it back there, and I'm like, we just left it because we were like, oh, what if it happens again? Well, that was right, and we never filled it. So then we had to get like house insurance, and they're like, oh no, insurance. You dealt with them, beautiful. So they're like, oh no, you got to do it. And I'm like, oh, cool. So I'm not, I can do what I can do, but I'm not like Mr. Bloody Handyman. You know what I mean? Oh, you had termites, dude. Shit. I used to be in pest control, matey. I did all my Florida state exams and that. And the fella, he's one of my best mates now. He's like a brother. But the fella that I trained with, because in Florida you got to go. You're either going into school and getting like a degree in horticulture, and then you got to do. I think you've got to still do a year with somebody work-wise, and I didn't have any of that, so I had to work with someone who, like I say, is like my best mate now, one of my best mates, and I had to work for him for 3 years. And he had it. He did me up sweet. It wasn't like it was like once or twice a week. And but I know termites, mate. I didn't deal with termites. I just did. I did GHP, general house pest, and I did lawn. And lawn's a pain in the ass. Lawn is a pain in the ass. You're dealing with freaking hundreds and hundreds and hundreds or thousands, right? Plants, right, that we walk on, but and we have St. Augustine turf here, and it's an absolute bloody nightmare. You can't buy seed. You can't buy seed for St. Augustine turf. You can buy slabs of it, but you can't buy it, or you can sprig it, like you can take up a bunch of the sprigs, because it runs like this through the grass, but it takes forever. You've got to have the root on there and all that, and there's so many different issues that you have with it, and you can't do treatments like when the old current bun's like fully up there. That's dodgy, because then I've seen lawns just completely burnt up. Yeah. Oh, old damage. Yeah. You got to watch the old. I don't know if you have them on the West Coast. I'm not sure, but the old carpenter ants, I would imagine you do, because of the moisture and stuff. But they will find damaged wood as well to live in, because it makes it easier for them. But they tunnel shit out. I've dealt with them. In a wall. Yeah, I've dealt with them ones. The carpenter ants, bloody hell, they're big. They're big buggers too. They like. I don't know why I keep beeping. I've got my phone plugged into one of these bloody you know, these extension things with all, and I think it might be a bit dodgy because it's like it's either that or I've got to put the government around me. So what's been going on, Pip? How you been? How you been doing? I hope you've been doing well. How's everybody's mentals been with this moon? How's everybody been doing with that? I'll tell you what. Whew. And if you're an empath as well, bloody hell, I feel for you. Let me tell you. Yeah, ants will. Yeah, they will. They'll get into the because it makes it easy. Were they carpenter ants? What, do you have those carpenter ants? Yeah, freaking dude, they'll light you up and all. They'll bite you. They'll give you a bit of a whack. I haven't been hit by them. We get hit with the fire ants. Bloody. Yeah, I've been lit up by fire ants a few times. And wasps. Yeah. And for some reason, I don't know why. Maybe someone can answer this. I don't know. For some reason, I've had wasp stings in the face, no problem. But when I get a wasp sting, or I've had spider bites too, in the hands or the feet, I freaking have a reaction. Only in the hands and the feet. I've been stung in the fucking chest. I've had them in the back of the nut, bush, where I was hedge trimming and I was coming under this palm tree. There was a freaking wasp nest there, and I hit it with my back. Yeah, that wasn't clever. They let me know they were there real quick when I was like, "Oh, why is that? Oh, hang on." Bosh! I watched it. I saw it. When I knew I was getting hit, I'm like backing up, and no word of a lie. I swear, it was like slow mo. It's like when in the movies when you're like, sorry, it was like that. I saw this freaking wasp go and come around and go, and I couldn't stop it. And it went wham, and I'm like, son of a bitch! It was like I'd rather take a punch, man. That thing freaking lit my lip up, and I went in because I knew the client, and they had me in for a cup of tea. I freaking looked like I took a punch. Yeah, but it don't bother that much. My hands and feet, shit, man. If I get stung, fire ants, I'm okay. But wasps or spiders, yeah, I've had twice, I think, when I've been hit in the feet with spiders. Once was at a wedding. I can't remember when the other time was, but I've been hit in the feet. Oh, I was at this it was like a dust and trees and stuff. I can't remember, it was some event or something, and I got hit in the foot there. Yeah, my feet go like, oh, mate. yeah, did it? Yeah, right. I'll tell you this, but I had another one. I had another one where I was, and of course now it's weird the way I knew things were changing for me in my journey and the way my thinking patterns were going. When I remember turning up to this one house and I'm taking they want them gone, right? They want the bugs gone, right? And I'm taking them off and I'm rescuing them and I'm putting them because in Buddhism everything has a right to live. And I was starting to kind of take an interest and breaking into it and thinking, okay, but that's a rule, And I was like, yeah, I'm a great pest control guy, me, mate. Freaking brilliant. I got all the equipment, but now I'm taking off. So there was this one. They're a bit hardcore, Pippa. You're right there. And when I used to do the classes, because I used to do CEUs and shit, and when I used to do the classes, they used to say there's because the hurricanes blow them in as well, believe it or not. Because I was like, what? And what did they say? Every season there's I might have this wrong, so don't quote me on it, but it was 60 different species of insect or something. It's like, what? And it's subtropical. So yeah, I've seen black widows. I've seen brown widows. I nearly grabbed a black widow once accidentally. Yeah, I've seen I've seen scorpions, yeah, snakes, gators. Yeah, yeah. But anyway, there was this house, and it was actually next door to the house that I was cutting because I used to cut grass and that as well. And then I had my license for the lawns and all that stuff and houses. So I used to carry gear with me, cans of stuff and that. And the neighbour next door, I used to know her because I just got to know her through chatting next door and shit, and having a laugh and that. And she goes, "Hey Steve, I've got a wasp nest in. It was a freaking I think they call them umbrella wasps. I can't remember now, but it looks like an upside down umbrella, and they can. Well, I'll tell you. I'm like, yeah, hang on a minute. Let me I'll go and get a can of my gear, and I come back and I'm about 10 to 12 foot away, right? And it was up on the eaves. It was a 1-story house, and it was up on the eaves. Like they know to tuck underneath, like right. And they're hanging underneath this eaves, paper wasp, I think it was called, right? Hanging underneath this eaves thing, and I'm like, okay. And as I'm bringing again, it was one of those slow motion. It looked like a western. As I'm bringing up the can like this, I got it to about there, and I'm looking at the nest, and I remember this clearly. I don't know if they smell it or what, dude, but I lifted the can like that, and as I got it to there, it came off the damn. I watched it off the round like that, bam, hit me, dude, bosh. I'm like, son of a bitch. Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. I'm on their turf. They didn't ask for that house to be built there, so they can, have a little fucking nest under there, right? But what do? Get out of my house! We're building. We're gonna mow. We're gonna mow all this down. Why have you got bears? Why have you got bears? Oh, I wonder why. Yeah, because gators coming up in your driveways and black bears walking everywhere now. Because there's up the road from us, not far up the road from us. Literally, you jump in the motor, you're like a minute. You're right in because I live right on the outskirts of Orlando, so you're going in more into the country and towards the coast, like Bifflo Way. If you look it up on the map, Bifflo Way, and on. But there's a beautiful conversation. I'm going to say, I nearly said conversation. What's conservation? Jeez, Louise. Conservation area up near where we live. And my wife's been to meetings of stuff as well, because there's been this battle going on between the builders, like owners that are selling, obviously, and the people that are living in the area, like the likes of us, because we want to keep it as rural as we can. And it's been going on for a few years, and they just finally bloody won. And I don't mean us. And it's beautiful. It's all trees, and it's just, it's a lovely, lovely area. There's a lot of wildlife back there. There's wetlands because it's Florida, right? But so where are they going to go? And then we start moaning and complaining, and freaking doing them in, right? People go around killing them and shit, and it's like, well, hang on a minute, they can't help it that they're walking down the street and they're seeing like meat. Oh, this is easy, right? I love most creatures, but I'm so scared of snakes, even grass snakes, which I know aren't poisonous. Yeah, I tell you what, I kind of because I hear you. I do. I hear you. I used to be like that with spiders more. And I got to know snakes from living here. You kind of, I hung out with people that were born and brought up here, and they're like, oh yeah, that's a blah, and that's a blah. So I started to get to know what was what, and I've seen rattlesnakes and freaking coral snakes, like because there's two different kind of coral snake, and it depends on which. It's called red touch yellow, killer fellow, red touch black, you're all right, Jack, or something. I think that's the same. So it's the stripes. So if you've got like the yellow stripes touching the red stripes, yeah, don't go near that. It's not a good thing. I've seen, we have black erasers here, which are great. They're a great snake to have around. They're lovely. They can get. I've seen them quite long, quite big. I've also seen copperheads and cottonmouths. Sorry, especially when I was cutting. And I've also seen a snake which I had no clue what it was. And I came around. I used to stand on the back of a mower. So I was on the mower, but I had the thing called a Velkin. It was a one wheel that you put your feet either side of, and you pivoted on this thing. And I came around by these hedges, and when I looked over, this thing was getting like gonna strike up, like right. And I'm like, oh shit, what's that? Oh, and yeah. So I've seen things like that. I've seen my neighbour across the way. I was walking up in my garage one morning, I can hear him shouting. I thought, what? And I look across the street and he's got, it was dead, right? Because he nearly got done by it. So he got a shovel, which is sad, freaking horrible. I mean, let it, right? I know it's not meant, well, I say not meant to be there. It is meant to be there, right? But, and he's got a shovel, and he had a freaking cottonmouth, which was like that. Fucking big, this big ass cotton, he's holding it like that. And I'm like, holy shit, man! And he's like, cottonmouth. I'm like, yeah, I see. They call them water moccasins as well, and they will come at you. I've had one coming across. I was fishing, and I had one coming across the freaking water at me, and I was with my brother-in-law, and I'm like, what's that? And he goes, it's water moccasin. I'm like, what? And he's like, flick your freaking lure at it, so it'll turn. And that, I ended up dropping my damn rod and going up the bank because it like disappeared underneath, and I'm like, oi. But I've also, had the privilege of seeing really cool shit, freaking bald eagles, amazing, and watching it on TV does a bald eagle no justice. I'll tell you that right now. Amazing. And I used to ride a Triumph. And I used to ride with this other fella that was he had a Harley. And we've been out to some areas like out near, especially if you go out towards, if you're ever around here, freaking shout me, right? But if you're going out towards like the NASA way, there's all reserved property out there as well. And it's awesome for if you want to see kind of things like that, like bald eagles and stuff like that. And gators, they're everywhere, gators. We've actually got like a park area that we can drive to, not far from there. We're going to take Grom there. He don't know this yet. And there's the gators. There's no fencing it off or nothing. The gators are all over the place, and they don't. As long as you leave them alone. But there's some big ass bleeding gators just hanging out. If you wanted to, which would be daft, you could touch them. I mean, it's like that. And you're walking past, right? Where are we? Not snakes, not too many creatures around here. Possums, raccoons, squirrels, birds. That about. Yeah, I mean, we get the raccoons. They can get a little bit naughty, especially on the beaches. Yeah, see seals. See, we don't have. See how it's like. I love it. I love the beauty of the US for me is the size of it. It blows your mind how huge. Look where I come from, right? Now, don't get me wrong. We're an island, but we got some. Ask Pippa. We got some amazing. Pippa lives up in Wales, and it's beautiful. I would have loved to have gone to Wales and kind of experienced it properly, because we just drove over the border and back again, and it was, I didn't really see Wales, but it's beautiful. You see pictures of it. It's gorgeous up that way. Little villages and north of England, Yorkshire that way. Beautiful. Just it's funny how all right, I'm English, I get it, but I've been in some areas like in the US that I've looked at, and it's like you can't get that in England, if that makes sense, right? But there's places in England where I'm looking, and I'm like, you can't get that in the. It's just something about it. You can't get it in the US. I don't know. And there's no doubt there's landscapes that look like it, but it's, you know, there's nothing like. I went to the mountains in the Carolinas. It's beautiful up that way. If you're ever like West Virginia way, that way, the Carolinas, it's gorgeous. It's a really get into the mountains. You know, get yourself a cabin and get in the mountains. It's gorgeous. But I love the fact that you've got seals and we ain't, right? But you know, you can go. The country's bloody crazy, mad big. And I remember when my wife and I were going over to Nevada. I nearly said Vegas, but it was Vegas, but the state is Nevada. When we were going over to Nevada, which, you know, anybody that don't know, it's not all the way over onto the west coast where Adam is. And it was a 5-hour flight. I'm like, said to my wife, 5 hours? She's like, yeah, it's going to be. Oh, and you've only got another couple of hours. And you're in London from here, right? And then when I figured out, like, to go all the way over to get all the way over to the west coast, right? I believe. I'm not sure, but it's like near on the same flight distance as it is from here to when I fly to London, like the same time. And it's like, holy shit, right? Can we do a collab? I'm not even sure who you are. You know, I'm not no nature guy or anything like that. I just know what I know from what I've, you know, what to stay away from a little bit, you know, and even though I might get that wrong. Looking at Wales on the maps, lots of coastline. Yeah. Wales is right. Fresh air, hills, castles, right. It's like, I remember I went to, I don't know if you know it, Pippa, and look this up, Adam. It's called the Isle of Arran. It's off the coast of the mainland of Scotland, and it's a little island that we had to, and we cycled it, not there from London, but we got our bikes on a train, and we took a train all the way up into Glasgow. That was like a 5-hour ride into Glasgow, and then we had to get I can't remember what we did. But then we had to get from Glasgow. I remember taking a boat over to get onto the Isle of Arran. And then we cycle camped all around the Isle of Arran. And it's absolutely beautiful. And it's the same thing. I've been in the mountains here. Like I say, I haven't been everywhere in the mountains. Don't get me wrong. I don't want anybody in different states going, we ain't seen our mountain. I get it. I understand. I absolutely. And I would love, you know, I would absolutely love, if my wife would agree, that's the problem, to get like a freaking camper and that and retirement, just travel around all the different states, because it is a freaking crazy. It's crazy the way the landscape is, and the way the different states change too, you know, and then you have the different cuisines that come into these different states, and you've got different ways of doing barbecue. And you know, one of the things when I was a chef, you know, I say once a chef, always a chef, but I don't practice it, right? But when I was a chef, was looking at all that, you know, it was like, you know, you're getting what was it? Is it lobsters from Maine? You know, they're different, and you know, if you go along the Florida coastline, seafood. If you fucking love seafood, damn, right? There's some great seafood places, fresh catch coming in. There's places where you can, you know, buy your seafood and that. I mean, but then you go, you know, and then you start going up north, because I used to live in Maryland, a place called Germantown in Maryland. And then the seasons and that up there was just amazing. And even though we used to get the snow that came in, and it used to be really thick, I used to get snow in London, okay. But my wife came from New Jersey, came down to Florida when she was 12, and then I met her because she got a job up there when I was coming here on holiday. That's how I met her. But she classes herself as a Floridian, even though she comes from New Jersey. And yeah, her mum is the Isle of Arran, ISLE, Arran, AARON, I think it's spelled. I might have that wrong though. But it's a really nice little island, matey. And they're the highest mountain they have is called Goatfeld, and it's well, my mate and I we came into this. You got it? Cool. Yeah, the Isle of Arran, because really cool, and it's very like. It's nothing like, I mean, it's very, very Scottish, which it's meant to be, right? But it's beautiful. It represents Scotland as Scotland, to me. I know I'm from down, but it's a lovely little island. And this Goatfeld, look that up, Goatfeld. It's the highest mountain on the island. Because we had climbed, dude, it was amazing. We did a weekend of it, and I was in charge of the cooking. My mate was navigator, because don't give me a map, mate. That's why I got GPS everywhere. Right, if I'm pulling out my driveway, GPS goes on. Right, but we cycle camped all the way around the island, and we like Pippa said, we were cutting across the top of this cliff. And there was like freaking sheep and that, just roaming around. And we were looking over because you could walk right off the edge of this freaking cliff, like. And we were looking around, and there was this pathway area that we could go down to get down onto the beach area. And we had mountain bikes, of course, otherwise you wouldn't have done, another bike wouldn't have survived. And we got them down here by carrying them and all that, and got down. You couldn't. If you had someone else coming the other way, you were screwed. Right. So we get down, and we had to get up this other area. And as we're walking along, this cave, and I'm like, holy shit. And we went up and we sat in the mouth of this cave, and we were watching the what they called, Pippa might know, what's the birds called that freaking pull their wings back, dive along our coastline. Not herons, well, they might be. I can't remember what they're called. And we were watching them fishing, and I did a little research on them, and they freaking will dive out of the sky, fold their wings back, dive out of the sky. They're going for fish, dive out of the freaking sky. And I think I remember reading they can dive to like 30 foot or something. They're like flat, as in puffins. No, because these look like I'm really going to bastardize this. They look like big seagulls. That's probably so wrong. That side. The ones you get like when I went, going to seaside with your bucket and spray. Those big ass bloody seagulls you get, right? It kind of looks like that, but they would like pull their wings back, freaking, and they were way up there and go, bosh, straight into the amazing. And we sat up and it was only us there, and we sat up in the face of this cave watching this going on, and then we ended up another night. Might have been the same night, I don't remember. I remember camping off the side of the road once, which was banging. We just found a spot, set up camp. I was cooking shit ass. It was awesome. And then the bottom of Goatfeld, that mountain. When we turned up there, it was an actual campsite, and we didn't even know it was a campsite really, because there wasn't really many people there, and there wasn't anywhere to pay. So we're like, it must be where people just set up when they're traveling or something. It ended up being a camp. I can't remember how we paid or I can't remember, but where we set up camp, there was a river, beautiful river, and the water was coming from Goat Feld. And when where we was camping, you just looked, and there it was, boom, the mountain. And we was going down in that water, just filling our water up. And it was like, well, it is mineral water, just freaking gorgeous. It was like clean, and then I come from London, right? You've got to be careful of the water coming out your tap, let alone like nature giving you it, right? What's that? Nature give me what? No, get out of tap, right? And then that night was when I tell this story a lot, and I'll never ever forget it because I haven't seen it since, really. The stars, holy shit! It was a clear night. We set up camp, and you can hear the water running with the coming from the the mountain, the water going down the river bit. Which it wasn't wide or nothing like that. It was only, it's only a few feet or so, but it was just, and we laid on our back and looked up. And I swear, when I tell people, you couldn't put your finger between the gaps in the stuff, they don't believe me. I'm like, it's just amazing. And the start, I mean, they're there. It's just the light pollution in a way. You just can't see it, right? And people, what's always fascinated me as well is when you look up and you see blue, just blue, right? It's actually the sun's reflection off the ozone layer. And people go, oh, it's the sky. No, it's actually what's protecting us, I believe. Again, look it up. I might have it wrong, but I believe that's what I might. If I've cocked it all up and I got that wrong, then but I do a lot of reading and shit, and I'm like, sometimes I'll cross things over. I'm normally all right though with it, but yeah. So Goat Feld is a beautiful place, but US, oh man, and I've met some just beautiful people from different areas of the country, different walks of life, especially doing what I do too, and guiding people. And people come from all different. I've got people, a couple of companies they're CEOs of, and I've got guys that are fucking shifting their whole life around that have been in some pretty dangerous areas, and they're there, and giving it just as much, if not more. And you ask about, well, you learn about the background of where they come from, and and it's like, blimey. But I've met so many beautiful people, human beings. It's and what the thing that was the thing that was really funny was when I passed the 26-year mark living in the US, because now it's longer than the amount of years I lived in the UK. It was one of the strangest things, because it was always like I'd always lived there longer. And at 26, I moved, and right. And us lot, what's that? Sorry, I must admit, I'm not sure where you might have to brief me on what I said and what you're saying, and us lot. So I'm not too sure, but yeah, I would have liked, one day I'll travel around the UK a little bit more. I missed out, lived there, bloody, and you don't do it, right? Knew the city, knew London, even that, I hardly knew it really compared to how big it is. My mate Davey boy, that some of you have met, he knows London. I mean, there's still chunks of it that he don't know, but he just goes out and takes his camera. If you look at him up on Instagram, goes out there now, Photog Pryor or something, photo Pryor or something. Go and look him up, David Pryor. He takes a lot of pictures around London and that, and his photography is bang. So he knows London, but I didn't get to spend a bunch of time in Wales or really in Scotland, and even Ireland. I've got an absolute gem of an Irish friend over there, and she's having I don't know if she still is, but she was having a house built over on the mainland of the island, and I I've had the offer. Hey, when you come in Ireland, and then, I've seen what she's building and that, and then where it's at, and that's just, and I think she's got a bit of land and that, and it's like, oh yeah, that's the way to do it, right? But it's beautiful. Ireland's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. It's gorgeous, and it's the same, you know. Sorry, us lot, the wonderful people you meet. Right. That's what I mean, right? I wouldn't have met you, Pippa, if it wasn't for, well, now X, but if it wasn't for Twitter. I met you on there, and then I kind of drifted off from Twitter, and then I went into Insta, and you found me. I believe you found me on there, and then it's just grown. It's just grown into this. It's like now I don't need Twitter or the Insta. It's like people know where they can find me. I pop into Insta now and again. I don't know whether I'll go back onto Insta. I don't know yet. Because I find it, a bit scrolly. You get into this, don't you? Right? Yeah. You go in, I put my advertisements in there or whatever, and then I'll be like, flick. Oh no. And I'm trying to be more aware of what's going on with me and because you start getting into judging yourself, and you may get into some news, and then that turns into, oh, what's that about? And then you look something else up, and then that goes into more bad news somewhere, and before you know it, your mood has gone to shit, right? So since I've had the past few weeks had this little bit of an head case going on, I've been like, okay, I'm going to start sharpening it up a little bit. So and Instagram was one of those where I looked and I thought, you know what, I put a lot of it, I used to put a lot of energy into it as far as postings and stuff like that, and I thought, I want to put more energy into this and make this work a lot more. So please throw it out there. Yeah. Are you coming on Sunday? 11 a.m.? You're always welcome, and if not, no biggie. Wales, Scotland, England, Ireland is just breathtaking in right areas. You should tour it with Tracy. Yeah, I know, that's where I want to go. I don't want to go to the touristy areas. I want to see Wales for Wales. I want to see Ireland. Like, get a hold of my mate and go, hey, listen, I'm going to be over in Ireland for a couple of days. Show me Ireland. But show me Ireland, right? And the people, and who to meet, and they're fucking beautiful people, Scottish people, beautiful people, Irish people, beautiful people, right? Welsh, beautiful people, But what do we do? We all start freaking like, oh, them and us, and then, shit. Looks nice. What Wales? Is that what you're talking about? Wales is beautiful, mate. Or you're talking about the Isle of Arran? Because Isle of Arran, Scotland, all that way, and it's all changes. You know what I mean? It's just like, yeah, you can go from. I can go from here in Florida, where it's pretty much flat, right? If I remember rightly, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't it underwater once? So you can go from here and then travel. What do you want, right? New York City, right? It's like fucking London on speed, right? It's like, and don't get me wrong, London's fast as shit. I mean, and I haven't been to New York City yet, and my wife won't take me because she keeps on saying I won't come back. And she's like, no, I'm taking New York. It's been mentioned a few times to go up there, but you go out to Utah and places like that, and look at the landscapes. It's gorgeous, beautiful. Arizona, right? When we went out, when we was in Nevada, I wanted to go to California. because when I was bodybuilding in England, all the muscle magazines were all American, and it was all on West Coast. It was all, you know, Gold's Gym or Muscle Beach, Venice, right? Anyway, it's literally been on my bucket list to get into California, get over there to Venice Beach and see Gold's, because I started bodybuilding young, and it was always, you know, Gold's Gym. It's with Arnold and Franco and Lou Ferrigno and, you know, Frank Zane, and they all, you know, Mensa, I believe, and, you know, the guys from back train, and it was a place where I wanted to go and check it out, but I've never got there. I've never got there. So what we did was we drove over the border. So we had you know, you're welcome to California, and we got out, took some pictures. Here we are out in the freaking desert. Right. You know what's funny? I remember saying to my wife, because here I am again, right? I know I keep mentioning it, but I'm fucking don't see this in London, right? We're on a road in the desert. I wouldn't call it a highway as such, but it was a road in the desert, nothing either side of us, you know, some mountains out there you could see from time to time and shit like that. But there was a car in front of us. And I always remember watching like the American movies and that, where people are driving, they look out the windshield, and the car in front's going like this, like quivering. I remember thinking, what the heck? And then, you know, you learn that that's heat, right? It's the fucking heat. So when this happened, and there was a car out in front of us a bit, and I looked through and I'm like, holy shit, that's real. Even though I know it's real, right? It's like, what? Yeah. So things like that I've experienced where it's like you can only experience it there. So I've been OGs. Golds, is that the name for the Golds over there? Because if that's the Golds Gym out there on Venice Beach, California, that's where I want to. You know, I'd love to head to there, and you know, maybe go down. I'd love to go to San Francisco, and I've always wanted to go up there and check all that out and how the freaking roads are and shit. Right? I wanna freaking sit outside a fucking coffee shop and you know, there's a cannabis coffee shop, and fucking sit there and, you know, have a coffee and not give a shit. Right? It's even though I'm open, it's, you know, that's going to become legalized here, and, you know, people are going to get their freaking plant medicine without people looking over your bloody shoulder. Right? God, nightmare. Bodybuilders. Yeah, I wasn't, you know, I used to do it a lot, which I think, you know, a lot of it was because I was small as a kid and that, and I was bullied as a kid. And when I kind of I left school and that, and I was like 16, and I got a set of weights, and I just wanted to start building up, and I started enjoying it. My neighbour was doing it, and I was throwing weights around a little bit, and I kind of got into it, and I started enjoying it. And then, you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger come along, and I'm like, holy shit, balls, who's that? Conan. I saw it on a pirate video, VHS. I saw it on a pirate. This fella had it. It wasn't even out yet. And he's like, hey, I've got Conan the Barbarian. You want to see it? I'm like, yeah, I'd heard about it and shit. Yeah, all right. And there was a few of us who turned up at his gaff, and he came on the screen. I'm like, and that was it. And I just, hey, Be Still, how you doing, man? How you doing? Everybody say hello to Be Still. Be Still. We got Adam and Pippa in here. Great people. Be Still is actually a hip hop artist. Absolute banging fella. One heck of a story. Lovely guy. In the car driving. All right, mate. Yeah, don't come off the road. Yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of work. Yeah, and you know, the diet and everything, and I didn't have my diet 100% correct. You know, it was. I never got to where I absolutely would have liked to been. But at the same time, I was bigger. You could tell my shoulders were all freaking here. I used to use it, of course, right? The old ego going into a club. Right, you 22, and you know, I'm not like boasting or nothing, but my shoulders were, even my wife was like, you know, but my shoulders used to be freaking round and big and shit, right? And I'd throw the old white t-shirt on that was a little bit, you know, that you get from the 8-year-old rack. Right. Yeah. Right. Hey, it worked. But yeah, I just got into it. I wanted to do competition, but you know, all natural and shit. Fishnet. Yeah, right. But you know, I was the sweaty. Yeah, that's right. Oh shit! I've got to tell you this funny fucking story. This is a funny one, right? Because I was big. I ain't gonna lie. I was bigger and more shape than I am now. But yeah, I mean, you know, I'm up there. I'm not old, but this fella. I used to hang out with a bunch of people, right? But there was this one guy that I used to play alongside rugby when I used to play rugby, and his name was Tim. Big shout to Tim out there, and his name was Tim, and he's got no freaking neck, right? He's built like, you know, a couple of tanks, right? And me and him would always, like, you know, when we were on the field together, he's come up to me and he's gone, follow me, and I've gone, all right, and we'd have a play, and he would fucking take off, grab the ball, I'd be right behind him, so there'd be him ploughing in, and then as he hit, I was coming in behind him, boom, and fucking going for it, right? So he was like a battering ram. Tim. Anyway, so I had this other mate that would play rugby with us, but he was like a pencil. He was a Yorkshire fella that we used to call Yorkie, and the reason we called him Yorkie, you remember Yorkie bars, Pitbull? I don't know if they still have them, but the freaking Yorkie bars, and I think the advert was done from York. I might have this wrong, but wasn't there a Yorkshireman that I can't remember now. But anyway, so we used to call him Yorkie. And he had, you know, he was a thin fella, taller than me, like 6 something. Big shout out to freaking Mr. Dave P, another Dave, but big freaking Dave P, yeah, Yorkie, he'll know. So we're going out this one night, right? Have you got a few minutes? Because then I'll kind of, because I know it's late over there, Pip, but I want to tell this story. And then I'll jack it in. I hope everybody's enjoyed this. I have. I'm glad you turned up, because I got to like the 10-minute mark, and you can look at the beginning. It's about, you know, giving me the shout and all that out there. Yeah, you made my evening. Thank you. I appreciate Pippa, Adam, and Be Still coming on, and there was someone else that popped on and off. So any of those that's popped on and off, thank you. Right. But anyway, so we go out to this club, and I can't remember which one it was or where it was or anything like that. But when you went into this place, to get to the bathroom, there was like a raised area with a railing on the left-hand side, and there was people up there too, but you had to like walk past that area to get to the bathrooms. So we're in this club, and we always used to, you kind of pair up with people because there was normally a bunch of us, and we'd all go in there in two so we wouldn't get booted. So we get into this gaff, and I'm with my mate Tim, Mr. No Neck, right? I'm with this fella. So and I was drinking, and I don't drink now at all. You know, give up alcohol. So, you know, I'll be in there with a cup of tea now, probably. So we wanted to, me and my mate, with the no neck, Tim, wanted to go to the bathroom. And my mate, Yorkie, who's thin and tall, right, he had disappeared. Well, he was somewhere. He normally knew where we were at. He's normally off talking to some girl somewhere, right? So when we would go through the crowd, we had to like turn sideways because we were playing rugby, and I was pumped. I was hitting the iron pretty damn good then, the old freaking metal, right? And I was always in the gym. I belonged to 3 different gyms at one point, so wherever I was in London, I had a gym to go to. One of them was called Bodyworks. I believe it's still there. It's in Tottenham, London. Great. It's not even the same looking place anymore. It's got another level. It didn't have any of that. It was a hole in the wall. Big shout out to Bodyworks. If anybody from that sees this, big shout out, because it was my first really professional, semi-professional bodybuilding gym where these guys were freaking giants. And here I am going in there, and I was built okay, but when you walked into them, you're like, please, sir. But they turned up out being awesome because they start, I got the looks and shit like that at first, but I just kept going, and they started like helping me out and shit like that. Mr. No Neck and you, oh God, I can't see it. York, it's like an Ivan Walsh novel. Right. Anyway, so me and my mate Tim, we go walking up to the bathroom. This thing, this like raised area is over on our left hand side, and we go into the bathroom. And as we're coming back through the club, I get this bang in the back of my head, right? And I freaking spin her because I know it's come from because now it's on my right hand side, right? It's on the left going in. I was on the right coming out, and I get this whack in the back of my freaking head, and I'm ready to just fucking grab someone and just like, all right, there wasn't none of this. I was ready to like, okay, well, I'll just, game on. So as I fucking spin around, it's Yorkie up on this platform, and I'm like, and he goes like this, and I'm like, what's he freaking? And I look at him and I go, and walk off, right? My mate Tim, because he's turned and all, and we both just like, oh, all right, it's Yorkie, right? Probably had a few, right? And he's piss bowling about, like, So anyway, we get the story after. It's funny as shit. We get the story after. He goes, yeah, I'm like, what was, And he's like, oh shit, yeah. He's like, did you see me up there with a bunch of lads? And I went, oh, I saw people around you and shit. And he goes, yeah. What happened was, he said, I was standing up there with I don't know, 2 or 3 fellas or whatever. There was some, a number of them, I guess, right? He said, and I saw you and Tim walking through the club, and I knew you were about to go off to the bathroom. He goes, so I start saying to these fellas, look at these fucking wankers, look at them. Who the heck do they think they are? Arseholes and all this, right? So these fellas are going, yeah, what the heck? What's up with, he's you only need to start, a few tanks in somebody and edging them on. They start edging the bloke on that's giving it the verbal because they want to see a barney go on, right? Which was my mate. So there they are. And they're like, yeah, what's the thing? Yeah, ego. And like, all right. The ego was probably there, bodybuilder. By the way. So he says, I was up there and I'm like, hey, and that was going on. He said, and you walked past us and you went off into the bathroom. He goes, and I'm saying, I'm gonna smack him when he come. When I come walking out, all right, and I didn't have the bald head on. I mean, like that. I don't think I did. I can't remember because at one point I had long curly hair. Go figure. So he said, I'm saying I'm going to, and they're like, what? So he said, you's come walking out. He says, and as you got level with me, he said, I leant over and I went, whop. And he goes, these guys went, like, what the, right? Because we turned around like, and we just looked at him and went, and walked, and they thought he was some freaking legend or something. It was brilliant. Like, he's like, they were like, oh shit, like, because it was, they thought they were about to like, oh no, we're gonna die. But oh yeah, what a story. Yeah, right. But anyway, I'm gonna love you. I'm gonna love yous and leave yous. It says I've got 4 people in here, so I know B Steele's in here, Pippa's in here, Adam's in here, and it's saying there's another one in here. But it's been a blast. I better get on with me missus and go to the hardware store now. Otherwise, I'm gonna cop it, innit? You know what I mean? I don't really need to be getting one in the back of the neck. I've already had the. Oh, we're gonna go off to dinner. Oh no, I want to go now and then have dinner so I can relax. But no, it's it's game on. Buy the short and curlies, grab me by the testes and go. We're going to the Home Depot. All right, okay. So I better. I'm gonna love yous and leave yous. And thanks for turning up. Seriously, yeah, great hanging with you, man. It really is. Have a great weekend, everybody. You know, I went from talking to myself for a little bit to having a good old chin wag. You know, I you know, again, people coming in here are loyal. Throw me around. Yeah, remember Sunday if you're coming, please. I will be if I'm a little late, which someone came on and they left and they said, "Oh, I didn't think you was on," and I was a little bit, I was just a little bit late by about 2 minutes, I think, or something. But I'll be on Sunday, 11 a.m. All right. So have a good start of your weekend. I don't know what you guys are up to. Hopefully, it's some PPA and moving forward and doing the right things for yourself, giving yourself some time and some mind time and relax time. Remember that. Relax the mind a little bit, yeah, and keep this in check, and then you'll be good. So I'll see you all Sunday, hopefully. So everybody have a good one. Have a good rest of your weekend. I'm about to start my weekend in a hardware store. Wish me luck. Much love. Thank you. Namaste.